Okay, we're going to start this all over again. Okay. Hello, listeners of the Mad Scientist Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Cogswell, here with my co-host, Marie Mayhew.
What is up?
Nothing much, Marie.
Shout out Fresno!
Shout out Fresno! We are here with a very special guest. We're joined by Michael Banti from the weirdfresno.com website. Listener of the show, we are very proud to say. And someone who, one of our main sources on the Fresno Nightcrawler episode and story. So, Mike, thanks so much for coming on.
Hey, Chris, Marie, long-time listener, first-time caller.
Oh my goodness, so good.
Again, I'm always amazed that people are listening to us.
It's terrifying.
I love you guys. You guys keep me company at work.
Oh, good.
Cool.
Yeah, when
Thank
every time we hit a major download milestone, my wife is like, "I can't believe your mom has downloaded you that many times." It's straight amazing. Dora
my
really
mom's
coming
helping.
through. No,
Rose
that's true.
And Dora are
That's true.
keeping us afloat.
The Mad Scientist moms just keeping it going. So, Mike, tell listeners a little bit about yourself, your work, and kind of where people can find you.
Okay, well, I live in Fresno, California, as you said. I run a website called weirdfresno.com. Basically documents any weird, crazy kind of story in the area. UFOs, ghosts, creatures, you name it's on there. Started it about 10 years ago. I realized that there was nobody really sharing the stories in the area. You know, you got places up in San Francisco, up or down in LA. I'm right in the middle. I thought, you know what? Here's something I can do. So started digging, and 10 years later, and probably at least 50 different stories, you know, like I said, haunted houses, you know, UFOs. There's a lot here that I didn't know about when I first started.
Yeah, it's cool when you know, so we just did the story about John and Phyllis Melanie, the UFO couple, right? And
yes,
that was one that it just kind of came up out of nowhere from this town that we were in. And, you know, I mean, it's the same thing here. Like, I'm actually looking right now at a pile of books and, you know, stuff people have written me, whatever, about UFO stories just in this part of Minneapolis, or Minnesota, I should say, the kind of Minneapolis-St. Paul region. It's cool. Like, people are always looking for these stories of weird things or haunted houses or whatever.
Yes.
And people never think to just look in their own backyard.
Well, I didn't realize this. I'm in the middle of the Nevada Triangle. I don't know if you've heard of that one or not.
Sure.
So we're actually one of the points. And so that's been something I've been researching lately. There's a lot of strange stuff.
Yeah, it's
amazing. A lot of strange stuff.
It's amazing. California, that just generally kind of the...
weird.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, it's kind of, yeah.
I embrace it.
It's good stuff. I mean, you got to, right? So tell us a little bit about the Nightcrawlers. So how did you first find out about the story, or kind of what put you on the trail originally?
Well, it was just, like you said, just kind of a random thing. You know, I just started my site back in, I think, September of 2008. So it's been actually almost 10 years now. And I wrote about the stuff I knew about, but I started, okay, you know what? I need to start looking for things. So I'm just doing a Google search, and I found this video on YouTube. And they weren't called Nightcrawlers, and I don't know where that name came from. I don't know why. They don't crawl. They walk.
Right.
But I guess the term Fresno Nightwalkers, I think you guys said this too, doesn't sound the same.
No, it doesn't sound as good. It doesn't have the right kind of feel.
Fresno paranormal drunken toddlers doesn't have the same ring to it.
You can't really market the Fresno Nightwalkers. It sounds like I won't go there anyways. But and so I'm watching this, and I've been investigating for about 10 years previously. I've been doing this for a while, mostly haunted locations, but some strange creatures here and there. I had no idea what it was. I mean, granted, it's a CCTV. It's grainy. It was actually a recording of a recording, which always kind of bothers me. But still, I'm watching this video. I have no idea what it is. And so I just kind of threw it up on my website. I put a little blurb there, so I have no idea what this is. And I think that was the moment that my site actually started getting popular in the area. People were sharing it. They're like, well, what is this? You know, nobody knew what it was. And it just kind of blew up from there.
Yeah. So when you first found the video, you originally found it on YouTube, you said? Did I miss that?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I did find it on YouTube, yes.
That's so interesting. So did anyone ever reach out to you and kind of say, you know, oh, I know where these were taken? Is there any, like, are there any ideas about where in Fresno this might have been? You know what I mean?
Actually, it's in the southeast area of Fresno. I kind of just looking at the neighborhood that they actually showed the house during the day in the first video. I don't know if you guys saw that part or not.
No.
It was later on in the video. But the thing is, though, it's been cut and spliced and reshared so many times over the years. The original one might not be out there anymore because they actually showed the house during the day. The owner of their house actually opened the door. I forgot what his name was. The investigator from MUFON. He was talking to the guy, and you actually see the tree that's in the video. Now, the tree, and we can get that later, but the tree was only 3 feet high. So whatever those things were maybe 18 inches tall.
Oh, see, Marie, I told you they were little.
No,
they're tiny.
They were little. Now you're all like, I told you they were tiny. No, I said they
when
were
I was
tiny.
listening to you guys, I'm like, no, they're tiny. I'm like, I gotta contact them.
Tiny. Man, so it was a MUFON investigator then that originally found this video.
Yeah, it's the gentleman from Mexico City. I cannot remember his name for the life of me. He's very well known.
Okay.
I can, you know what I can find the video later. I'm sure it's out there somewhere. I'll send it to you guys.
I will say the only video of it I saw, and I'm going to make an assumption that's most prevalent out there is a cut video. It's highly enhanced. It's cut for just a very certain. But no, we don't see the house. You don't see the neighborhood. There's no context to it whatsoever.
Because the original video, it was actually at some conference. It looked like, and it's on the screen, and so somebody's recording it. It was kind of shoddy in a way, but
as you do, yeah.
So
that's how everything gets on the internet, right? It's a recording of a recording of a recording. I call myself a skeptical believer. I believe in the possibility of these things and in ghosts of UFOs, etc. But I want proof.
Yeah.
That's how I am. I try to be. I hate using the term scientific because everybody kind of throws it out there as a buzzword. But I'm very rational when I research something. And I've watched the video a dozen times, 20 times, no idea. It was around the 15th time I noticed the second little thing had what looked like a cape. You see something building up behind it.
Oh yeah, totally.
Because I was like, these are birds. These are birds, and that's the prevailing theory from most skeptics or cynics, is that they're egrets, which is a local waterfowl bird. They're actually a very high-laid bird, but they're not a nighttime bird, and they only usually stay around where there's water. That house, like I said, is nowhere near water. There's no canal, there's no ponding basin, nothing nearby that would. And why would they be walking across the guy's lawn at night?
Yeah, and you would see the body of the egret as well.
The only time they walk is in the water when they're hunting. So that I don't believe. I mean, it could be fake. I mean, honestly, there's been nothing since. That's kind of my. The other two videos after, I believe, are definitely hoaxes.
Yeah,
they're so different.
Yeah, the Yosemite one and everything else.
Well, yeah, and that's actually not in Yosemite. It's in a place called Yosemite Lakes Park, which is on the way up to Yosemite.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's actually near a casino.
Oh, nice. You know what? So we actually had another listener of the show, Adam Chicarino, who actually has a really cool. He's a photographer in New York City. So adamchicarino.com, AdamCiccarino.com. He actually he's pretty involved in special effects kind of stuff and photography and everything else. And so he is of the opinion that it is definitely a marionette puppet, and specifically a specialized type of marionette. It's a cloth marionette, so it doesn't have any physical parts to the legs, right? And so what he called it was like a walk reel. That's what it looked like to him, which is really interesting. But and he pointed out a couple of things. Specifically, the legs don't make contact with the ground at all. So the legs actually aren't the things that are providing the locomotion. What's providing the locomotion is something like the middle, or I guess in this case it would look like the top of the things themselves, right? So
can you discern that though from the video? Sorry to interrupt you, Chris, but I mean, can you honestly see from that video that they're not making contact with the ground?
Well, I think his bigger point was that if you look at the way that they're walking, it's not the legs that are actually causing the locomotion. The legs appear to just kind of be like
or they're alien.
Or they're,
what else?
Right, or they're an alien species.
I'm telling you what.
They're fairies.
Or they're fairies. Here's the thing. I don't necessarily believe in a lot of our discourse here. I've decided to put my money down on the Fresno nightcrawlers just because I love them.
This is the thing, Marie.
They're my favorite.
This is the hill Marie has decided to die on.
This is the hill I'm going to die on for the paranormal. It's going to be the Fresno nightcrawlers because, I mean, come on. Like, I don't. So my big question is, like, what was going on in Fresno? Like, how did this, in your opinion, get traction? Because it's like, I'm sure if it's a marionette, that there's a bunch of kids or whoever out there could be doing something in Dallas or in Baltimore or wherever. Like, I find it very interesting that there is this incident.
Well,
I'm like, is there something that happened? What's going on?
I have kind of an add-on question to that, if I may, Marie, which is
absolutely.
When do you think the original video was taken? Like, when do you think the event itself actually occurred?
Yes.
Based on what you know.
I don't know. I heard you guys mention 1994, and that was the first I heard of that number, or that date, excuse me.
Okay.
I want to say sometime in the 2000s.
Okay, so you think it was sometime, because when you said it was about 10 years ago that you first saw the video at all?
Yes.
Which that would have made it like 2008, somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
See, I feel like I remember seeing this back in like the terrifying early days of the internet.
Geocities.com.
Yeah, right. Yeah, angelfire.spooky.net. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I remember seeing it back on kind of some paranormal forums and things that I used to haunt back in the day, pun intended. But
and it wouldn't surprise me. I said I didn't start researching until 2008, and it could have been out there for a while.
So okay,
and the thing is, there's no date on that or nothing. Like you said on your podcast last week, there's really no date. There's no area mentioned. I just happen to know that the towns I live here. It's just there's so much that's missing that make me question it.
Right. Okay.
But there's so much on there that make me wonder. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. So the date. Okay, so the date is kind of still up in the air, but you're wagering though somewhere around like the early 2000s up to I think we have a range of like 2000 to like 2008. Let's say is the likely range of time that it could have been out there. Now, Marie, your question was. What was Fresno? Yeah, what was Fresno like?
Fresno like?
Does it have a lot of paranormal enthusiasts kind of thing? Like, what's going on there?
Or again, like, what's interesting is, even if this is a hoax, which it's not, even if it's a hoax, how does something like this decide to take root and grow and sustain itself? Versus all of the other hoaxes that are, that just have it. Like, is it something about Fresno, or is it something about maybe the timing that it just entered the internet stage at the right time, and so people were just starting to share it? Or, like, what do you think it is?
Well, Fresno's actually known for its tacos, so I think they were there for that. No, I don't know. Fresno, Fresno is a weird town to begin with. I've always said we have a population, I think, that's larger than like Oakland and some. I think we're like 600,000 people, but we have a very small town mentality. It's a bit of a conservative. I don't mean that religious. I just mean just in general. It's hard for me to find anything here. So when that popped up, I was surprised, and the fact that the gentleman actually went public with it. I don't know why if it's real, why. It took off, and I know why it took off, because Factor Fate then came down here and did their thing, and that's when it got, I think, national exposure. I don't know. There's always weird things going around here. In my research, I've kind of discovered we actually had a gnome attack in Porterville, or what the woman describes as a gnome, and now that's a weird one. It's and a very vicious. Gnome that wasn't very nice from what the story goes.
You know, have you ever listened? I don't know, Mike, if you've ever listened to the. I do a show with Dave Scott over at Spaced Out Radio on the second Wednesday of every month. It's like a very random date, but he is famous, or he's infamous to his fans, I guess I should say, because he swears that a gnome was haunting his daughter for some time. And like when he tells the story, he's so afraid that you're like, you get afraid, you know what I mean? But sometimes I wonder if it's not like, you know, oh my God. Anyways, so we're going to have to, Marie, it looks like Porterville Gnome Attack's getting on the list of episodes.
I can forward you the story.
I would love it. Absolutely love it. Yeah. So, okay. So Fresno is just, Fresno is weird. So is there like a, what's kind of the makeup of Fresno in terms of, say, you know, like, is it college educated? Is it mostly, you said it's a little bit more like a small town kind of feel?
Yeah.
Is that...
We're very much an ad city. We're, you know, since we're in the middle of California, I mean, surrounding us is farmland.
Okay.
So it's mostly ad, yeah.
Okay, so that actually completely demystifies for me I did not expect that at all. Like, I think California, and I think it's because California is so ginormous that it's like, you think of California, and I think of like, you know, West Coast liberal elites like Marie. You know what I mean? Like just, you know, whatever.
I'm more rarefied.
Right.
Fresno is the Bible Belt to California. It's also called that.
Devin Noonan, right?
Yes.
Nunez is
his
district.
Nunez,
okay.
Sorry, yes.
Okay, so that, okay.
He has nothing to do with the Nightcrawlers, and I am washing my mouth out with soap. We even put him in the same place.
Okay, so
anyways,
was the story kind of? I guess I'm wondering, was the story since? Has it gotten a lot of? Like, is, you know, like you look at this in other areas where there are these cases like Kelly Hopkinsville, they have the Little Green Man Festival, right? You look at Point Pleasant has the Mothman Festival, they sell Mothman t-shirts, everything else. Are the Nightcrawlers becoming in Fresno kind of a little, are they becoming almost a mascot, or is it more kind of like,
I wish.
Okay, so it's more like a weird, this just kind of happened here?
Yeah, it's like an underground story.
Okay.
I've tried. Fresno, it's hard, and I can go into details later. It's hard to really get any traction with this kind of thing. Like I said, it's a very conservative area. Some of the museums here that are haunted, they want nothing to do with it, even though it would give them so much tourism. And I understand that. I get that. I really do. But it's hard to get any traction with. I would love a Fresno Nightcrawler Festival. I think that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, that's so interesting.
In the video, it looks like they're in somebody's backyard, or
it's a front yard, actually.
A front yard, okay, because there's trees, and it looks like a slope, right? So they're heading downhill, I want to say.
Yeah, that would. I think the slope is part. I don't think they crossed the drive. I have to look at the video, but I think they actually crossed part of the driveway.
Wow,
it's so interesting to me that the guy, and you said the original person who reported it came forward. It sounds like they went to MUFON. Right? I'm
not sure. I think he went to Univision first, which is the Spanish-speaking network. I believe it's in Mexico.
Oh,
they then went to, and then they went to, and I wish I could remember his name. I should look it up. I'm not near my computer. I'm sorry. They went to the head MUFON investigator for Mexico. He then came up and then interviewed the person. He was actually at this conference where the video they're showing him talking at a podium, and you see the video on in the background on a projection screen.
That's so interesting. So it was a Hispanic, I assume, if he's calling a Spanish language station. Okay, so that's so interesting then, man. Wow. So, and that person actually kind of came out, because really, I mean, when we were investigating, like obviously with these things, I understand it's very personal. It's very, if that guy owns a business or has kids or anything, like, you don't want your name to get out there attached to this stuff usually.
Right.
But I have always been so surprised with a video like this, how, and this is true, I guess, of a lot of these kind of videos, but how hard it is to pin down solid info on, like, this is who put the video out, this is what this is what they do for a living, this is what how the video has affected them, like, I find it so fascinating. So have you've been able though to figure out who the person, or you've at least, it sounds like you at least know the neighborhood and which house it is.
Yeah, at least the area. I've driven the area and I think I know it, but like, if this was 10 years ago, it could have been painted over by then. But I know the area, and actually other people that have seen the video have actually also confirmed that it is definitely Southeast Fresno.
Interesting. Okay. Marie, you got one in the chamber? I can feel you loading up.
No, I'm just puzzled. Like, so it's a nighttime camera, right? That is, it's like a security cam, right?
Yes.
And it's just, they're that little. Like, I'm just sort of like, I don't know. I'm tripping out at the fact that it was actually reported. So there should be, Chris, some reference to it in MUFON.
I guarantee there is. I mean, it's okay.
Right.
Again, we're not going to get down this rabbit hole, but like,
no. I'm just saying,
especially if it got reported to MUFON Mexico, like, each state hardly talks to each other. Forget another country. You know what I mean? It's like the old time FBI, because it's all old time police that run MUFON. So it's like,
well, I actually found that true of California. North and South didn't really talk to each other. I was trying to get in contact with on something else. There's nobody in Central California.
No, we actually are good.
No.
We're good. We're on pretty good terms with one of the guys that runs, I think it's Southern California. I don't want to say exactly, just in case they are on bad speaking terms.
Okay.
Like he's gonna, I'm gonna be like, hey, you're MUFON. And he's like, I'm not Southern Cali, I'm Northern Cali. But yeah, no. If you need, I mean, I'd love to at least send him your info. But oh man, it's so interesting to me. So there are these little things.
Yes.
In the original video it's at night.
Yes. Because what happened was, I think you mentioned this on your episode last week, he was having dogs basically tearing up his front yard.
Yeah.
So he installed the cameras, which is interesting because now I'm like, the skeptic to me is like, well, wait, here's the premise for why he's shooting the video.
Right. We have a self-sustaining premise, right? Yeah.
Why would you put up a camera to have dogs, to show the dogs? You can't prove who they are or whose dogs they are.
Exactly.
What's the point?
Right.
Yeah. But that was the premise and so he recorded these things, contacted MUFON or Univision, they contacted MUFON, and he came up here.
Because I'm also, let's say the earliest it could have happened is like mid 90s, just like as far back. The recording quality of it, that's the other thing. It's like, again,
CCTVs aren't that good to begin with. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Right, and, at night.
Even like back in the early 2000s, DVR quality wasn't that good. I remember when I was investigating, a member had it, and it was just horrible. It was grainy. I mean, it looked like it was filmed through a potato.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
What?
And so then you've got a recording on top of a recording, even.
Yes.
Right, recordingception.
Which is even stranger.
What?
Yeah.
What is so the neighborhood itself? Is it, because one thing that I'm thinking is if it was faked, if it was a hoax or something, wouldn't the guy's neighbors kind of you know what I mean? Like, oh, Billy's out, whatever.
Yeah,
Bill's outside again.
Yeah.
Right. Like
we knew he was doing something with those puppets.
Right. Yeah. Oh, Puppet Bill. Yeah, Puppet Bill. Are the houses near each other? Is it like if you buy a house?
Oh, they're near.
Okay,
each house is 10 foot, and that's one. It's a typical subdivision.
Okay, so it is like a subdivision then. Okay, because for me, if it was a backyard, that would be a little bit. I mean, it wouldn't make sense with the story that it's the dogs chewing it up or whatever. But at least that would give it more. Okay, if he was hoaxing this, then it's this person in the back or whatever. So one theory that's been posited again to me by a couple listeners is that this might be actually, because this happens a lot with paranormal footage. And again, I'm going to give a shout out to Adam Ciccarino again for contacting the show about this. For a lot of paranormal footage is actually kind of I don't want to call it B-reel, but visual effects students or people working on like CGI stuff or whatever, just kind of testing out something and then it getting put out there on the internet and someone... and those things spread, right? It just becomes a meme and then it flows around and whatever. And then, the number of times there's a specific video that I've seen under probably 10 or 12 different headings. That is this, it's a CGI thing of a UFO hovering over a building. It looks like it's a city, like a small city. It's a UFO. It hovers down. There's a beam of light that comes down, and then the thing just disappears into the night really quickly. Then I have seen that video posted, I'm not even kidding, about 12 times. 2 of those times where it was being submitted to MUFON, to official MUFON, as I saw this video online. I think it was an abduction caught on tape in Oregon, or I think this one was caught on tape in New Hampshire, or whatever. You know, I've seen it online as it's an abduction in China. The first time I ever saw it was an abduction in Israel. It's a very, very well-known hoax video that floats around.
I think I know the one you're talking about, yeah.
I guarantee everyone most people listening to this are like, I know that video. Yeah. Oh, I thought someone, I thought that was in Galveston. You know what I mean? Like, so what I'm wondering is, so the thing that's been posited, we're just taking a long walk here on this story. The thing that's been posited to me is this is, like I said, some kind of VFX or special effects or whatever test footage that a student put together or is going to put in their resume or whatever. They throw it online as a laugh, or they put it on their website, and, you know, some guy with a YouTube channel grabs it for clicks and ad money and whatever and puts it out there. As far as you know, like, because Fresno is a kind of agricultural city, is there a college in the area? Are there people there that do this kind of stuff for a living? Like, what do you think the chances of that are?
We do a college, Colorado State University of Fresno. Okay. Very big college, but they don't have a film school that I know of.
Okay.
Now, I know we do now actually have in downtown, the downtown area, kind of like it's actually tied with Comcast. It's in a local cable affiliate where they actually do production there. But nothing, well, at least back 10 years ago, none of that was around.
Right. I mean,
so it wouldn't surprise me if it was somebody with After Effects just doing, and that's what I've thought too. Honestly, that's the most prevalent theory to me, is that if it's just somebody messing around.
You know what?
As much as I want it to be real, it's not.
Yeah, the thing that kind of kills that theory for me is that it's almost how bad the quality is, actually. Right? Like, it's kind of one of those things where if someone was trying to fake that video, they did such a wonderful job of making it look like grainy CCTV footage, right? That I'm like, that is on its own an amazing act of artistic. For me, anytime someone tries to do that stuff, like, you guys have obviously seen that picture, that painting of Jesus that like grandma tried to fix.
Yes.
And it came out looking like that monkey in the coat. Every time I see, that's what I think would happen.
Fur around it, yes.
Exactly. That's what I think would happen is you get this CCTV footage, it looks really bad, and you're like, I gotta try to make this look a little bit better here by adding this alien or whatever, and it just ends up looking like, a polygon floating around.
See, I don't know. To me, it's like it's almost the opposite. It seems like it's very consistent. Like, it seems very smooth and very, very consistent, which still doesn't mean that it's real. It could still very well be a hoax.
Right.
Because it has such continuity to it.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like it does. It definitely was not CG. There's no way somebody was CG.
I don't think so either.
Now, everything that's out now, I was just watching one where it walked across somebody's swimming pool, and I was like, man, you should have cut bait. Right? It comes through the yard, goes over the fence or through the fence. I'm like, that's pretty good. And then it walks on water, and I'm like, just cut bait. No, a good cryptid story when you got it. You don't have to have it walk on water. Yeah, you jumped the shark, man. You had me up to that point. And then I'm like, meh.
Does Fresno, first off, Mike, where do you come down on this ultimately? What do you think? Real or fact or faked?
I don't know. If someone was going to offer me $1 million for my opinion, I would say it's faked.
That's not going to happen on this podcast.
No.
Okay.
Do you have? Wait. Do you know someone like that? Is that?
Yeah.
I wish.
You got to pay money to pay.
I wish.
We have stickers.
We do have stickers, which will send you a pack of stickers, but that's like $10.
I want it to be real, but like you said, the CCT graininess is so good. Like, it was almost like Skywalker Ranch did this or something to make it look really bad. And it's like my gut is telling me that it's real, but the rational part of me is telling me that it's fake. Because like if the other two are definitely fake, they look nothing like the original one. And there's other factors too that lead me to believe that they're fake. But this one, it just popped up, and like it's not like the guy came forward and for publicity, he just was like, "What is this?"
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And there's so many different factors. Like I said, before I saw the video outside, during the day, once I had that tree for scale for a reference, so I thought, okay, they're just a bunch of kids messing around with something. As soon as I saw that tree, I was like, I want to say 36 to 48 inches tall, basically 3 to 4 feet.
Uh-huh.
So whatever those things were tiny.
Aww.
It's
they're
a lot.
Cute.
It makes it a lot cuter. It does make it a lot cuter.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's the Sanrio Hello Kitty, a paranormal occurrences. That's why.
Well, somebody needs to market them.
Oh, we are 100%
Somebody
getting
does.
stickers made. We're getting stickers made. I mean, we have to.
We are so getting stickers made. Desdemona has already made adorable stickers that
They're
we are
very
now.
cute. They're very cute.
Yes.
We'll have to send you some once they finally get made. We'll have to
Oh, yes,
send
please.
them for free. So, okay. Now, one of the big questions I had was, because like you said, one of the most interesting things about this is they come out of nowhere. Like, I can't think of another... There have been some references made to, in mythology, there's always something unsettling to humans, it seems, about kind of spindly-legged creatures, right? You think like Slender Man or the Men in Black or whatever, like they're always put out as these tall, scary things, long, slender, weird, faceless beings. The Fresno nightcrawlers, though, really did kind of come out of nowhere. They're super tiny. It's weird how they move. They're really, I think Rob Christopherson from Our Strange Skies had the best description of them. They're basically pants. Right?
Yes, they're
MC
just
Hammer
pants.
Yeah, they're pants.
Aww.
So I guess I wonder, and one of the things online that has been out there is this idea that there's local native peoples legends or a history of these things appearing in the Fresno area for some time or whatever. So I guess I have a kind of a two-part question. The first one is, have you ever seen any evidence of anything else like this in the Fresno area, in the history, in the mythology of the local lore or whatever? And then secondly, what other kind of cryptids or, like you said, UFOs, I'm wondering, does Fresno have a big Sasquatch thing going with it? Is there a lot of, kind of what is, I guess, the weird flavor? If you had to get a quick taster sample here.
Well, I'm sorry, Mariko.
No. I'm just dying. I'm cryptid sampler.
It's the smorgasbord.
Idea.
You got your Bigfoot and your Dover Demon and your Mothman. To answer the first question, no.
Okay.
All that stuff about being local lore with the natives and those really weird wood carved figures, that's not here.
Okay.
As soon as I saw that, I was like, "Oh, great! Finally, I have something to go on." And I'm looking at these. I don't know where they came from, and I've done image searches. I've contacted every local native in the area, like all the tribes. There's several tribes. No, we don't know what that is. What? No, that's not it. But even the terrain that they're at is not of the area. I've lived here, all 40 years of my life. I know this area.
Sure.
That's not here.
Okay.
And it's weird though, because the pictures where I originally found them are actually on some Brazilian website, basically like a blog over there.
Yeah, that's where we saw them too, on like it was a blog that linked to a blog that linked to it, right?
Yes.
But at the end of that trail was this website. It looked like from Brazil or somewhere around there.
And it's almost like they found those, and the person who found those was also familiar with the Nightcrawler story, and it was like, "Hey, I'm going to add to the story."
Right. Yeah. It's kind of one of those. It's like
it's Slender Man.
Exactly.
The story builds around it, and now I'm afraid there's like tulpas of these things running around now because everybody's thought about it so much.
But they'd be so cute.
It would be cute.
Yeah, until they gnaw your face off.
Yeah,
they don't look like they look like they have big eyes, but they don't really look like they have.
For some reason, I picture the Tooth Fairies from Hellboy 2. I don't know why.
So there's no evidence of these things being okay. And that we figured too. We were kind of there's that one photo online and someone's like, look, it's evidence. And it's not evidence.
Yeah.
What about the other, but you're saying like there is kind of a Sasquatchy group or people that like that kind of stuff in your area, I hate to ask you, is the area squatchy, but
it is.
Well, hella squatchy. Okay, got it.
Because I'm about an hour or so, probably 90 minutes from Yosemite. So I'm near the mountains. But what's interesting though was I think last year there was actually a Bigfoot sighting down on the valley floor, and what people were thinking was, because we had all those nasty fires last year, that some people believe that Bigfoot migrates up and down California. That's why you can never really find them. I don't know if that's true or not, but they got pushed down to this lake, or it's actually a reservoir, but it's called Avocado Lake. And a farmer actually said he saw Bigfoot on his property. So there's sightings around here, and there's actually sightings up in Bass Lake, which is actually near the entrance to Yosemite, the southern entrance to Yosemite.
Okay. Interesting.
And there's other creatures that have been seen around too. I kind of researched one. One was this, as I was told by we have a large Mon population. It's Southeast Asia.
Okay. Yeah.
And that it was what I wrote about was in their culture and their lore, it's a dragon, which is really interesting. So we have some weird things here. Not just Bigfoot, but
Fresno dragon's got a little bit more of a that's Night Stalker or night, that Nightcrawler, Night Stalker type of. You could get a good name going.
And we have large catfish, and another one of the local reservoirs. People, I get emails probably once a month or so. Hey, I saw the catfish. I've never seen one. I've gone there, unfortunately.
The catfish. Is it?
I mean, they say it's at least 9 feet long, at least. That's what I've been told.
Jesus. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta tell you.
I'm telling you, Chris. I'm telling you, there's no reason that these little things can't be out there marching around.
I don't know, Marie. So, okay.
I'm doubling down. Before, if I had any doubts, which I did not, I doubly don't have any doubts now.
So let's get into, I guess. So these were, because like I said, I had seen the video before the fact or fake thing. I think a lot of people kind of knew about these things, but didn't really know that much about them. So when the fact or fake thing happened, how was that, I guess, taken by the community, or were people just like, oh, it's another weird thing?
Oh, it was not taken well. There's a reason why. So they contacted me because I'd already written about it, and they were kind of using me for some background research. Unfortunately, I didn't get paid, but whatever. Show aired. I was like, okay, cool. I told all my my mom. I told her that I read my website. Hey, check this out. Maybe they'll mention me. I don't think they will, but still, this is Fresno. So I'm watching. Oh, this is great. And you've seen the episode, right?
Yes.
So at the very end, when they go in that kind of that wooded area, saying, okay, now we're going to this park nearby. That is nowhere near that area. That's actually on the north side of Fresno, probably about 4 or 5 miles away. I was mad, and people were like, emailing like, what are they doing? That's Woodward Park. That was where they shot it. So I contacted the producer. I said, hey, great show. I just thought a question. I think your geography's I'm trying to be nice about it. It's like your geography's a little bit off. The park where you guys shot at the very end is nowhere near the original location. No response.
And
taking they actually
some liberties with it.
Yes, very much. That actually upset me. They actually contacted me again. They wanted to revisit. It was a different producer, different crew, apparently. I think it was during the last, it was on its last legs. And I said, well, you can look at your previous notes. I can't really help you because, you want me to go out there and research things, but you're not going to compensate me for it. I can't do that. And nothing ever happened with that. I don't know if they decided not to do it or not, but it was a good episode. I suggest the fact that they filmed somewhere nowhere. If it was a local park that was nearby, I get that. But the park where they're at, and I know that park, they just wanted the spooky factor.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of par for the course for these kind of paranormal TV shows, right? So
yes,
that stinks. You know?
And we don't pay either, so sorry. Like I said, stickers, man.
Stickers
are great.
Stickers and goodwill. That's all we can provide. So, man, that's interesting. So it's very interesting. Then I'm so happy you contacted us. Seriously, this was really great.
Yes.
Any last minute or not last minute, but any last kind of takeaways you have or things you wanted to bring up before we kind of wrap this up?
Honestly, if it did happen, I think it's a Dover Demon type incident where it was just a one-time only thing. Because even after those other two videos, nothing's happened since. And you hear all this story and all this the supposed lore, but it's been 10 years, nothing. Which once again, the
Fresno,
rational part of exactly.
The
the rational part of me is like, well, if these are some creatures that are native to the area, you would have more sightings. There's been none. But there's all these supposed stories and these wood carvings and this native lore, which is all BS. So it was a one-time thing, honestly. I don't know what it was.
Right. No, I mean, I'm with you there. I think it's as much
which makes it more interesting.
It
right?
does. It does, I think. And that's the thing. That's another part of this that is so fascinating is because it really had it has no precedence, right? It's like the first Bigfoot story or the first alien abduction or whatever. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah. This is the Dylan Patterson video. No.
Well, I mean, it's sort of, right? Like this is the first of its kind that happens. And so anytime that happens, I think, if it was easy to fake, I think there'd be more of them out there too.
Yes. And people tried, like I said, and they just don't match the original one.
Right. Oh, it's so fascinating. Well, Mike, thank you so much. So again, listeners.
Oh, thank you.
No problem. This has been Michael Banti of WeirdFresno.com. Banti, right?
Yeah, Banti. It's fine. Banti. It's Italian.
I am gonna redo that because that's terrible of me.
I don't mind.
I am as an Italian. I see a vowel and I'm like, I want to be like bibbidi boopity, right? But I can't. Well, thank you again so much for coming on. Listeners, this has been Michael Banti of WeirdFresno.com. Go check it out. It's a really good website. Super fascinating stuff. One of the longest running, I think, kind of paranormal-ish news sites of its kind. Definitely, and I see all the time people ask, hey, is there a podcast that just does local stories to their area or whatever? And, there aren't that many out there. So, man, if you ever get into that realm, you let us know and we'll have you on again.
Oh, I definitely will.
For sure. Amazing stuff. Cool. Marie, any last minute things?
No, man. Just I'm pleading with the people, the good people of Fresno to get out there in the dark of night with your cell phones, but look down. Don't step on them. All right? Get some more recording. They're there. It's the one thing I've chosen to believe. It's those cute little drunken toddlers of the
right. They live
paranormal world.
They live, please.
Awesome.
Good stuff. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming on. And
thank you.
No worries at all. Good night, listeners. Thanks for listening.